tough, but I'll make it. Because I've learned that if you have a dream, the only way to make it come true is to go after it. With your support, the United Negro College Fund is giving deserving students more of a chance to survive. It's giving them a chance to succeed. And for people like Harry Brown, a chance is all it takes.
Welcome back. This is a closer look, and today we're focusing in on how religion plays an important part in our lives. My guests today are Reverend Theo Triplett. He's a pastor of Asbury and Potts Camp Parish and part-time chaplain at Russ College. He's a graduate of Russ College, 1968. He's a graduate of the International Institute of Theological Center, ITC, Atlanta, Georgia. His office is located in the Howard Thurman Chapel, and Mrs. Lily Dale McNeil, she's the assistant professor of philosophy at Russ College and director of religious life. She's been here at Russ 22 years, employed since 1963. And as stated before, religion plays a major role in our lives, whether we realize it on a conscious level or a subconscious level. Our country, our doctrines were formulated on religious beliefs, and our behaviors somehow displayed that socialization. In what direction is religion moving in today's society? Reverend Triplett.
Joel, I read a book not too long ago entitled Megatrends, which is pretty much concept of kind of trend that direction with everything that's moving. And there's another book by Peter O'Toole and Marvin Sexton entitled Encounter with the Future. And I was interested in their answer to this particular question. And they said the same thing that I'm going to say at this particular time, and that is, in spite of all the modern technological advancement that we're finding in today's society, that people will continue to need religion, because it is religion that gives meaning to life. It's religion that gives directions to life. It is religion that answers the question as to who am I, from whence did I come, and where do I plan to go. And religion then is moving in that direction of trying to give some theological interpretation to this fast moving society.
Mrs. McNair, spiritual element of religion and the individual. What does it provide for society as a whole? Yes, either one.
Religion provides an opportunity for self-expression. The key to religion is enabling the individual to find a sense of identity within society. Each person wants to belong, no matter what area he takes. And I think if you look back at the past, there is always going to be a yearning toward a belief in something. We don't necessarily have to say that we believe in a God, but basically, underneath all this is a striving to relate to a supernatural power.
And trying to find self-identity or self, how can religion be used effectively in alleviating social problems such as teen pregnancies, controlling the divorce rate, and quasi behavior in general? When I say quasi, I'm eccentric or diverse in behaviors in our society. How can religion be used effectively in alleviating social problems?
I would like to phrase that in terms of how the church can aid in helping to alleviate social problems. Many times our churches forget the fact that we don't have to unite in a basic movement to bring our youth to church, not only on a Sunday basis, but through the weekdays for some type of program that involves social issues. Such programs can also encompass resource materials on teen pregnancies, drugs, and the like. And these would enlighten the youth so that they would know that we care. And I think that is the most important element.
Youth, you're mentioning youth. As you see it, how involved are youth? Let's say ages 14, let's go farther than that, 12 to 25, utilizing the church. To what degree is it being used? Is it being used good in a prosperous fashion? Or meaning are a number of individuals or youth involved in church-related activities?
Speaking from the standpoint of my own denomination, I see good growth in terms of youth population. But the key is how well are we utilizing our resources at hand and helping to keep those youth within the church. And I do feel that we have the agencies so adopted. Whereas to get these youth involved in the program as Commission on Education, Commission on Ministry, Commission on Social Concern, if we could only take these and work them into our program, I think that our youth would probably be in a better position.
Audition has become an issue today. With the rise of modern technology, instruments are becoming electronically controlled or having electric sounds. It's becoming a modern contemporary sound in a sense. How do you feel about percussions, drums, and congos, and string instruments, as well as synthesizers, those electric tonal instruments in the church, and to what degree should they be used?
If you look back at the Psalms, you will see reference to cymbals and instruments. They may not say instruments, but the psalmists encourage us to use these instruments. I think it's essential to have these. It adds to the flavor. However, many of our
hold your thoughts. We're going to take a break. We want you to stay tuned, and we'll be right back with religion, how it affects you today. As I stated before, it's becoming a big issue, not as big as a few years back. With the rise of the modern technology and instrument synthesizers and that contemporary sound, that pop sound, a number of youth seem to be pulled in. I recalled hearing Andre Crouch mention the fact that if the music is going to bring children or the young adult society into the church, it should be utilized. How do you feel about that? To what degree should we use these instruments in our service? Should there be a special service for these instruments, or should they be used regularly on Sunday morning?
Why not utilize them? I think they are helpful aids in setting the tone for spiritual worship. I also believe that if we would look back in the Psalm, we will note that the psalmist encouraged us to use symbols. So from that angle, I believe they are essential, and it does help to set the tone for spiritual worship.
Well, personally, I have no objection to the different type of musical instruments. To me, that doesn't say anything about whether they are holy or unholy. But I think at the same time that we're going to have to recognize and be sensitive to the fact that there are people who've had a different type of socialization. There are people there who with nervous conditions, that this could create a problem. And another problem that you have in today's society is that too many people use these type of instruments simply for entertainment. Now, I think in some instances they're replaced for religious entertainment, and sometimes that has nothing to do with worship. When you worship, God is always at the center. There's a deity there. But when you have your instruments there, and somebody wants to see how loud and how fast you can beat the drum, or somebody else wants to see how fast you can run across the keyboard on the piano, and that kind of thing. All of that can get, that can get out of hand. Another problem, let's to say this, Joe. Another problem is that everybody thinks that all of this has to be at 11 o'clock on Sunday morning. You see, the problem with the worshiping community is that everybody, no one really wants to give enough time for these different aspects of worship. There's a 2 o'clock hour, the 3 o'clock hour, 4 o'clock, 6, 7 o'clock hour, and all of that. But people don't want to give up their television shows, their sports shows to be a part of a religious worship. They want everything to be confined to that 11 o'clock hour.
The style of worshiping in our service or in church is not a universal thing, is it? There are different forms of particular church rites or rituals, such as the Baptist, the Church of God in Christ, the Catholic, and the Methodist. And the Church of God in Christ more often using these instruments, the modern equipment as far as their worship service is concerned. What's the difference between Methodist and the Church of God in Christ and in music?
In the United Methodist Church, there's such a pluralism in the United Methodist Church. It's hard to really to talk about styles within the United Methodist Church. We have an interdenominational, interracial, and also international kind of church. We have the Hispanic churches. We have the black churches. We even have churches for mostly just women. We have gay churches, and all those worship styles, will vary depending on the people, the religious orientation, that kind of thing. So it's really hard to say, but in most instances, people of lower economic type backgrounds, they tend to get more into the, for lack of a better word, the rock and roll type worship style, And I have no objection. I was brought up under that kind of stuff, singing in quartets, and I can get with it, so no problem for me.
All right. The rise of cults has made much influence to many people. What happens which makes a person turn to differing beliefs and philosophies of religion? Examples: the Jim Jones cult, I think it's the Sun Moon cult, and others.
I think that one thing that encouraged people to move toward the cut is the fact that the cut often offers more of a sense of involvement, a sense of identity, which is different from the customary ancestor worship that we once had known. Say, for instance, during my early periods, I was brought up in the Baptist church, and from the Baptist church, I gained deeper insight. I became more involved in spiritual worship and actually getting participate in the service. And now there's a trend in some churches not to really give youth our people that much of involvement. So therefore, many people will turn to the club with hope that there is a sense of identity within that club. Something that I can belong to. I have a little more freedom, freedom of the will, if you put it that way.
Well, positivistic ideology, right?
Well, I think another thing that happens with most of us is that, you see, we are brought up to, we are given in the mainline of the denomination, you have what's called pretty much a freedom of choice, and you come up and you're not dictated to. I'm not the captain of myself. For something to give some direction to your life.
How does religion moralize an individual? Religion is said to be a moralizing agent. It gives substance to life. It gives substance to society. Well, how does it moralize an individual and then trickle into the society?
Well, one of the whole purposes of religion is to form us spiritually. We call that in modern day language spiritual formation. and which means under a religious concept, you're taught to pray, you're taught to meditate, you're taught to learn good principles, good theology, that will undergird your life in such a way that will make you behave in certain ways. Your behavior pattern. Those of us who are Christian, we have accepted the behavior pattern of Jesus Christ. We learn his doctrine and try to form ourselves after his doctrine and try to teach others to to develop themselves after his doctrine. And this does become moralized. And this is one of the roles of the churches.
What is prayer? What is prayer? Many of us seem to pray upward. Is prayer an upward action or is it an inward action?
I feel that prayer is an inward action. I think it's a very personal thing, and it's left up to the individual. And many people think that you must fall on your knees in order for God to hear you, but you don't have to fall on your knees. You don't have to even crawl on your knees, and say a prayer. You can walk along and utter prayer to God because it's a very personal thing, and that's between you and God. And no one can take that away from you. And when you pray for something, you don't want everyone to know that what you're praying for.
Well, you also have prayer. You have the prayer of petition, where you petition God for certain things. Then you have the prayer of thanksgiving, where you say, thank God and glorify His holy name for the wonderful things that He's done for you. So there are different forms of prayer. Then there's the corporate prayer, where everybody prays together, for the world's problems and that kind of thing.
I'm going to ask you all today
two stories in the Bible. On a personal level, both of you, what is religion to you? How does it help you to gain what you want? And how does it help you to succumb to stressful situations?
I would like to say that religion is a belief in a supernatural power. And herein this is the opportunity to express my feeling of a commitment to a supernatural power. And knowing this, I am always aware that I can go to this power and express my personal needs.
Well, religion to me is that spiritual force that undergirds my total being. I mean, there's that power that gives me direction, that motivates me to those things that are right based on the revelation that God has given us through the Bible. And when you ask the question, how does it help me to get what I want? And then, I really have to answer the question, what is it that I want? Except to be happy and content and to feel certain that God has a place for me in His kingdom. So.
All right. So I'd like to thank you both for coming on the show.
L. King once stated, the United States cannot hope to attain the respect of the vital and growing colored nations of the world unless it remedies its racial problems at home. If America is to remain a first-class nation, it cannot have a second-class citizenship. And with that, thank you for tuning in, and remember, be good to yourself, then you can be good to others. Good night, and have a safe week.